Welcome back to the channel. I'm Shango. Alright, so this one is a follow-up to my video where I talk about the eSIM and how it might affect Caribbean natives or anybody in countries where there's no eSIM. So the first thing I want to clear up is that eSIM is not like CDMA. So according to this document that I'm looking at now, I'm writing this video as we go along, CDMA phones do not need a SIM card since the phone number is linked to the device itself. That's clear. Let me read what an eSIM is. An eSIM is a digital SIM that allows you to use a carrier plan from a carrier without having a physical nano-sim. An eSIM is a digital SIM, so it's still a SIM, while CDMA don't need a SIM or a SIM card. So let's get that out clear. So SIM cards or CDMA and eSIM, they're far apart. I understand the correlations. I understand why persons are asking these questions because eSIM seems like it's locked to a carrier. It's not. You can be locked to a carrier because just like any other chip or any other number that can be locked to a carrier. For instance, you walk into a T-Mobile, AT&T, if you're in Jamaica, you walk into a Digicel or a Flow. You can buy a phone from Flow and that phone is technically locked to Flow. It's the same thing with an eSIM phone. But I don't want persons to mix up eSIM with CDMA because the number itself is linked to that device. But with an eSIM, you can have up to 5 different numbers on an eSIM. Complete different ballgame. As a matter of fact, you can have 2 numbers and have a data plan. So it creates a complete different conversation when you're talking about eSIMs. And these are the concerns that I've been seeing, that I've been getting from persons who are asking questions, especially on the videos. Persons are asking, can this be done? Can that be done? I'm trying to clear it up. As it relates to Caribbean though, most persons who actually want to use an iPhone 14, they're gonna have to go on Flow or possibly Be Mobile in the other rest of Caribbean country, because I think it's maybe only in Jamaica the company named Flow. Outside of Jamaica, I know that in Trinidad it named Be Mobile. I think in Barbados it might name Be Mobile also. I'm not 100% sure. But I know in Jamaica the company named Flow. So you'd have to just switch to Flow. Digicel is not ready. I heard that they might be preparing or trying to get to eSIM capabilities, but right now they are not prepared. If you want to use the iPhone, an iPhone that you get from America, you have to switch to Flow. But there's a solution. You can buy your iPhone from Canada or buy your iPhone from England or almost anywhere in Europe, because those iPhone 14s are coming with SIM cards. So it have a SIM card tray. It have a catch though. It will be more expensive. So the iPhone in Canada is $100 more expensive than the iPhone in America. I don't know why, but it's like that. To each his own. Maybe some persons feel much more comfortable dealing with the SIM removal, but I must tell you that the same thing that you're doing with the SIM removal is technically the same thing that you're doing when you add a different carrier plan to your eSIM. One seems much more easier, but it's the same thing. And the benefits of the eSIM is that if you're going to Europe, if you're going to China, if you're going anywhere, you can actually activate an eSIM long before you get there, as opposed to going to the airport and trying to pick up a SIM from that country to put in your phone. There's some benefits to doing that because what's going on right now in the eSIM world, from my research and understanding, is that there are a lot of third-party eSIM companies. So what the third-party eSIM company does, they talk to the various cell phone carriers or the various carriers in the country, make a deal with them, and then sell you an eSIM that works on their network. So there's a strong possibility that you can get an eSIM that works on Digicel for data, not for calls, for data. So there are many eSIM companies out there right now who are selling data. Mean all this eSIM can do is provide you data. No calls, just data. And in that itself, there are some benefits. However, most eSIM third-party companies are trying to make a buck off the man. And how they do this is that they talk to the carrier, pay the carrier for their internet service, they make the eSIM and charge you a little bit more. So when you go online and looking at eSIM, you realize that the eSIM can be a little bit more expensive than if you had gotten a SIM or an eSIM from the company itself. Because these persons who are the third-party persons are trying to make a money themselves. And it's a business. I understand that. But the correlation between eSIM and CDMA, let's throw that out. They are far different. There are some concerns that I've been, listening to other persons talk about, where I don't know if you want to call this a con, but it can be seen as a con based on how the explanation was done. Is that with an eSIM, because the SIM is inside the phone, if something happens to your phone and your phone need to go and get fixed, you can't just pop out the SIM and add it to a next phone and then continue with your business. So if your phone takes 3 days to fix, you won't have that number for 3 days. Even though there's a strong possibility that means you can switch your eSIM to a next phone, but that might be the case. Have a burner phone where if there's any issue, them just take them SIM out of one phone and put it in the other. That eSIM kind of take with that a little bit. So that little freedom. eSIM doesn't lock you into a carrier. That is one of the concerns that I'm seeing. Oh, the carriers are getting more control. The carriers have somewhat some control, but not great control. Because remember, with an eSIM, you can put on a data plan. You can put on a call plan, which is a number plan. You can have multiple numbers on your eSIM. So the correlations and I've been listening to a lot of persons, and there's a lot of misunderstanding. I guess most persons don't understand it, and because Apple has now forced the issue, it kind of create a little ripple in the cell phone or the smartphone game. And as I say, if you want an iPhone 14 with a SIM, buy your iPhone 14 in Canada, which means you have to go spend more. If you want an iPhone 14 with a SIM card, buy your iPhone 14 in England, which definitely are gonna cost you a little bit more. But the misunderstanding, I think the information, the knowledge is just not out there. And the worst part about it is that eSIM is like 2-3 years old right now. eSIM is not new. But the difference is that it's when Apple does something, it creates a ripple effect. People start see it now. Oh, a phone could not have headphone jack. Outrage. A phone without a SIM card? Outrage. But eSIMs are the future. Hands down. Security. So right now, I must warn phone thieves. Persons who want to see persons and take their phone. If you can identify that this person have an iPhone 14, leave that phone. Because if that person's phone is set up right where you can't turn off their data, you can't turn off their Wi-Fi, all you're creating is a tracking device for that person to find you. Because that's the level of security that eSIM brings. So there's a lot of misunderstanding. A lot of people don't necessarily have the knowledge, so they're asking questions, and that's good. It's good to ask questions. But as I say, I'm making this second video to give some clarity as to what the eSIM is and what it isn't. That's the eSIM. Right now, the iPhone 14 in the US has no SIM, which is the eSIM iPhone 14. And eSIM has been in the iPhone now for probably like about 4 years. People just haven't been using it. So now Apple has forced the hand, especially in the United States, not all over. Apple has forced the hand, say, yo, listen, this is where we're going. And you know what this means. Apple create a ripple effect. There's a strong possibility that your Samsung and all these other companies are gonna follow suit. So look out for eSIM. It's the future, more secure, takes less space, The eSIM can actually be in the middle of the phone, so you can redesign the phone as to where the SIM go, because it's not a physical SIM that you have to take out. So there's a lot of benefits. There's a couple disadvantage, which I don't consider as a big disadvantage. Most persons, when they buy their phone, they just keep their phone on one network. That's the majority. Not the persons who are bouncing around and traveling all over the world and stuff like that. And they who are traveling all over the world and stuff like that can just get an eSIM plan for data. So anywhere they go around the world, they can connect to the internet. And we are in the age where a lot of our activities on phones are done through the internet. You don't even need a phone number if you have internet. WhatsApp, FaceTime, your Instagram, your Facebook, all of these things you are communicating through without a number, because all my communications are through WhatsApp, FaceTime. So sooner or later, there's a strong possibility that the number, a phone number, don't exist. You have connections through WhatsApp and all of these. But still, see the reason for the phone number exists, because you know what I mean, you have certain little stuff where it need to be verified so them can use a number for texting and stuff like that. But there's a strong possibility that probably 10 years from now, it's not a phone number. Yeah, I hope that explain it. I hope I don't have to have any more discussion, so to speak, about the eSIM, because I think it's because a lot of persons don't understand what an eSIM is, why we're having this discussion and why persons are so concerned. And rightfully so. If you don't understand something, you need to ask. Well, I hope this video clarify and get persons to understand that eSIM is the future. And yeah, I'm Shango. See you in the next one. Bless up yourself.